Okay, so my understanding of paternalism is that the sensation and experience of paternalism is that do as I say because I am more of blank than you. That's paternalism. So do as I say because I am more experienced than you. Do as I say because I've been here longer than you. Do as I say because I can do this better than you. Do as I say because I can do this faster than you. Do as I say because I'm smarter than you. Do as I say because I've gone to more classes than you. Do as I say because I'm sexier than you. You see how you see how arbitrary that is, right? But that is actually what's being conveyed in that is power. That is actually power to overcome for one's own will, that is judgment, that is interest, that is judgment, sensibilities, to meet and somehow sway and overpower, that is override the standpoint of another. As you increase that, your sense of power and your application of power and effective power, it grows like that. So you might land on a video, and I have like umpteen videos. Some would have more numbers than others, and you would be more keen to look at to click one by the numbers. And I think that some of them, like, I actually stopped titling some of them because I felt that it was a little bit arbitrary and like a little bit like advertising. So I just let the random numbers ride like that. But some of them will go up and away in my beautiful video with a lot of views on it. So there's a song that used to be like go up and away in my beautiful balloon, and that was actually a really great song. That was a beautiful song. They don't quite make them like that anymore, but or they're not in production right now. Some of those songs like that, because you would actually need the time frame, because those are like coming out the 80s and 90s, and life was different back then. They call that like the zeitgeist, the spirit of the times. You would actually need a zeitgeist like the 80s to do a song like that, I think. But what's significant is that, and even sometimes when I look back at my own videos to like review, I'm more interested in like the ones that would have more views on it. But what that is conveying is that it's a sense of power, because more people have potentially been influenced by this. More people have engaged with it that has been influenced by it, potentially share it. And so it conveys power that way. And it may not be any more or less valuable than another content, but the perception of power goes a long way. And that's actually taught in business classes, is that you can price something, and if you price it too, it's not exactly how you price something affects how it's engaged with and purchased. And it's not all about pricing it that low, because if something is priced low, it's a lot of times it's assumed to be worthless. If it's priced high, it's assumed to be valuable, or if it's overpriced, then it's also it's construed as worthless, because they're either someone is taking advantage of this, or they're trying to make it seem more valuable than it really is. So the sweet spot is to make it appeal to balance the value and the real value and the perceived value. There's something of a balance in there, but it's actually similar with almost anything that's being offered, including like content. And so some people would look past something if it doesn't have numbers on it, and but the numbers speak to a form of or an understanding of power generically in modern context, as we experience life in the modern context. If you had a more vintage, like someone of actual real seasoning and taste, they could appreciate something with less engagement, potentially, because one is that it may be more unique, harder to find, that is rare, maybe overlooked. Like you can imagine like some people pulling up to like a garage sale, like some neighbors you didn't even know you had, or like neighbors that you never see, but they're interested in some value. Like, oh, what's this you got over here? Oh, you got this where on your trip out to this state? And that was in what year you did that? Oh, okay. And how much you want to let it go for? $20. Oh, wow. And okay. Well, would 15 work? and then they're going away like, yeah, man. So then they're at home. They're like and they're like yeah, that's something cool I got there. Don't touch that, man. That's so like I think there's a thing in the holy text where it says that someone they bargain and they act like something is cheap, and then they brag or they mock the person that they got it from when they walked away because they knew what a bargain was. But a person of real vintage and seasoning and taste and experience, and maybe even means and wealth, they recognize a bargain when they see it, and so some things can be a little bit more niche, and even sometimes things that are niche are actually priced a little bit lower, and that's actually some real mean value. That's like the real McCoy is like something rare, off the beaten path, valuable, and not necessarily very super expensive. Like I just appreciate how much I learned from the works of Arthur Avalon, and he put somewhere in those books, he had sold them in India like maybe 100 years ago, and he's saying like, yes, this book is only, he said something in there like, this book is only such and such rupees, and it was put at a fair price, so that I may be compensated by my work, but I may not further injure other people or take advantage of other people who may be interested in this. So I want to make it available to the public at a simple cost, not to injure a consumer or myself, but just to make it available, but also make it compensated, commensurate of that's like worth compensation. Just fair. That's fair. He said that, and he was putting so much brilliant knowledge, understanding, poetry into these texts that I would imagine were fairly priced then 100 years ago, and it was fairly priced when I picked it up at a used bookstore. And that's an example of like niche and like real value. But that goes to say that power is more so about influencing than to further override and maybe appropriate another person's judgment, interest, value to one's own objective interest and strong suit, with and without the esteem and passion of a person, and with and without their best interest in mind. It's not so much is someone that is within our power being benefited by us, or it's not so much is what they're doing beneficial to themselves or harmful to themselves, but is it beneficial to myself exerting power, and therefore what the power is primary. A person might benefit or not benefit under power, but the power is what's important when it's about power. And so a lot of our life is about power, and it has not been anything but that. This entire experience of Western society, going back the iterations from capitalism, industrialism, feudalism, and on, that is as far as I know, it's been about power, that whole point. But sometimes you will have you do have change, because change is part of this earth has been changing these eons, and it will continue to change, and such as its members, such as human beings. So we will change and experience change. Part of that will be helped or hindered by some of our great figures, and then also our regular rank and file people are equally significant. And one could say that the real work of any change doesn't actually get done until the rank and file get on board with it, and it's going to change from the grass up, if it is going to be change at all. But change is always going to be with us, and then certain outstanding. So you have maybe certain outstanding people that benefit, that certain unique leaders, influential people come about us that move us in a great direction. Equally, as life is balanced, those would come that move us in a horrible, heinous direction. Then you have the rank and file, the ordinary civilian, the ordinary patron, consumer, worker, family member, dissident, laborer, your rank and file. You have beautiful waves of rank and file that can get things done and things really change in the right direction. And you can have a ho-hum status quo, entitled, very bland, flat rank and file that can be the devil also, that can be the problem. So the rank and file can be the devil as the great figures can be the devil. So you have, like you say, I don't mean to, so you have Adolf Hitler, horrible person, horrible, used influence horribly, but he was influential. But what was more horrible was the society that got on board with him. That's the devil. Your neighbor that buys into his rhetoric and applies it to their own neighbor. That's the devil. So the rank and file can be as profound and awful as our great leaders.